We are entering a grocery collapse, one that will blindside millions by August 2025. This isn't a warning for next year, it's a reality unfolding right now. Entire food categories are disappearing overnight. Milk, coffee, citrus, bottled water, gone or priced out of reach. This isn't about price hikes, it's about vanishing essentials. And the worst part? Most people won't realize what's happening until the shelves are empty. But you're here now. That means you still have a window, a small one, to get ready. Because if you wait for the panic to start, you've already lost your chance to prepare. Number 1, traditional dairy milk. If there's one item that defines American households, it's milk. But by the time August 2025 rolls around, that familiar gallon jug might be a ghost of the past. This isn't just about inflation or rising costs. This is about complete disappearance. Traditional dairy milk is being wiped out from shelves across the country, and most families have no idea it's coming. 3 of the largest dairy producers in the United States, Golden Valley Farms, Sunshine Dairy Corporation, and Midwest Milk Producers, are shutting down permanently. Not scaling back, not restructuring, gone. These 3 alone supply over 28% of the national milk market. Their collapse means the dairy industry is being gutted at its core, and it's happening fast. Why are they going under? Because it's no longer sustainable to keep cows alive, literally. Extreme weather has ravaged America's feed crops. The cost of animal feed has jumped a staggering 65% since late 2024. And without affordable feed, farms can't keep cows healthy or alive. Add to that a 40% spike in labor costs and new EPA regulations requiring expensive environmental upgrades, and the result is a perfect economic storm. It's no longer profitable to produce milk. For some farmers, it's no longer even possible. Here's what that means for your wallet. Industry analysts are predicting that milk will jump from $4.99 a gallon to $8.99 or even $10.99 by August. Some premium brands might break the $11 mark. For many families, milk will no longer be a weekly staple. It'll become a luxury item. But here's the good news. If you act now, you can avoid the chaos. You don't have to give up milk entirely. You just have to be smarter about it. First, plant-based milk companies saw this coming. Brands like Planet Oat, Silk, and new players like Nutriflow have tripled their production in anticipation of this collapse. They now offer calcium and protein-fortified options that match dairy milk nutritionally, and they're holding steady at around $3.99 per half gallon. Second, there's a growing wave of local dairy cooperatives offering direct-to-doorstep delivery at 30% less than grocery store prices. These small-scale farms are adapting quickly, cutting out middlemen, building tight supply chains, and serving communities directly. One of my neighbors, Sarah, signed up last month and is saving nearly $200 a month feeding her family of 4. And here's a survival hack most people don't know. You can freeze milk. Just leave some space in the container for expansion and toss it in your freezer. It'll stay good for up to 6 months. That means you can stock up now before prices explode. Let's be clear, this dairy shortage isn't permanent. The industry is resilient and smaller farms are already stepping in to fill the gap. But we're still looking at a brutal few months ahead. And if you're not prepared, you'll be standing in front of an empty cooler wondering why you didn't listen when you had the chance. So take this seriously. Check your fridge, check your freezer, make a move. Whether that's freezing gallons, switching to plant-based, or signing up for a local dairy drop, do something. Because by August, your options might not exist anymore. Number 2, citrus fruits, oranges, lemons, limes. These aren't exotic imports, they're kitchen staples. You use them in your water, your tea, your dinners, and your desserts. But in August 2025, these familiar fruits will be harder to find than toilet paper during lockdown. This isn't an exaggeration. The American citrus supply chain is collapsing, and most people won't realize it until they're staring at empty produce shelves. Florida, the heart of America's citrus industry, has been hit by back-to-back catastrophic floods. Entire orange groves are underwater. Farmers aren't just losing this year's harvest, they're losing entire generations of trees. Citrus trees take years to mature, and these floods have destroyed decades of agricultural growth. The numbers are chilling. 38% of citrus crops are completely gone, and another 25% are severely damaged. That's over 2/3 of our domestic citrus supply either lost or crippled. And what about California? Shouldn't they be our backup? That's what everyone assumed, until unprecedented frost events in early 2025 froze entire lemon orchards to death. Temperatures dropped so low, even state-of-the-art protective systems failed. Farmers who've worked the land for 40 years say they've never seen anything like it. Some orchards will take 3 to 4 years to recover, if they survive at all. Maybe we could import more citrus? That's what you're thinking. But let's look at the global picture. Shipping costs have skyrocketed 65% since last winter. Ports are clogged. Citrus from abroad is rotting in containers because delays are now measured in weeks. Trucking companies are refusing long-distance routes thanks to outrageous fuel prices. Even if you find citrus at the store, it's already halfway to spoiled. And then there's the price tag. A $5 bag of oranges? Gone. Analysts are projecting $12 to $15 per bag by August. And lemons? You'll be lucky to find any. I checked the wholesale data just last week. Prices have jumped 45% in a month and climbing. But you're not powerless. Here's how you stay ahead of this citrus crisis. First, start stockpiling frozen orange juice concentrate, the kind you mix with water. It lasts up to a year when stored properly. Go for 100% pure squeezed. It's pricier, but it's the real deal. Second, you can grow citrus indoors. Seriously. Dwarf lemon trees thrive in sunny rooms, and new hydroponic kits are hitting the market fast. They take 2 to 3 years to produce fruit, but starting now gives you a shot at independence later. Third, and this is the sneaky smart move, switch to lime juice. Mexico's lime crops haven't been hit nearly as hard, and most recipes won't even notice the difference. I've been using lime juice in everything, soups, marinades, drinks, and in some cases it's actually better. Versatile, accessible, and way cheaper. Finally, the silver lining. Trade negotiations are underway to stabilize international supply, and experts predict things may ease by late summer 2025. But that doesn't help you if you need lemons next week or next month. Don't wait for a $15 orange to wake you up. This is your moment to plan smart. Stock up, adapt, and stay flexible. Because by the time the average shopper realizes citrus is vanishing, the smart ones, like you, will already have a freezer full, a tree growing by the window, and a backup plan for every recipe in the book. Number 3, select coffee brands. If there's one thing that holds the morning together for millions of people, it's coffee. That sacred ritual, that warm cup of clarity, it's more than just caffeine, it's survival. But as we inch closer to August 2025, that comfort is about to be ripped away. And no, this isn't some price increase scare tactic. This is a full-blown disruption to your morning routine, and most people have no clue what's brewing. Let's start with Brazil, the undisputed heavyweight of the coffee world. They're now facing the worst drought in 50 years. Record-breaking heat has drained the soil, cracked the land, and pushed entire farms to the brink. Yields are down 40%, and 30% of Brazil's prime growing regions are experiencing what scientists call severe moisture stress. In layman's terms, the plants are dying fast. Coffee trees that have thrived for generations are withering under skies that no longer deliver rain. This isn't just a Brazil problem, it's a global supply chain earthquake. And while the world's largest exporter falls apart, another country is stepping in to fill the gap: Vietnam. Their Robusta bean output is up 12%. Sounds like good news, right? Not exactly. Robusta isn't Arabica. It's more bitter, more acidic, and used mostly in instant coffee or cheap espresso blends. What's worse, major coffee brands are quietly sneaking more Robusta into their Arabica blends to stretch supply. That slightly off taste you noticed last month? That wasn't your imagination. Behind the scenes, major coffee retailers are scrambling. I'm talking about supply chain restructuring, price hedging, and rationing. One leading chain has already started limiting bulk purchases to prevent hoarding. And this is just the beginning. Let's talk money. I've been tracking prices daily. Premium brands are in survival mode, and some have already signaled price hikes of 25 to 40% before September. And for those who love dark roasts and cold brews, the news gets worse. Dark roasts require higher quality beans, and those are the hardest to source right now. Several cold brew companies have already started switching to medium roast substitutes and tweaking their flavor profiles to compensate. Now here's the wild part. This crisis is forcing massive innovation. In Seattle and Portland, coffee labs are developing bioengineered plants that require half the water. Meanwhile, a startup in Finland is making coffee without any beans at all. Lab grown coffee. They claim it tastes identical, but let's be honest, we're not ready to start sipping science just yet. So, what can you do? First, if you have a favorite brand or roast, stock up now. Properly stored, whole beans can last 6 to 8 months in an airtight container. Second, start exploring new options. Vietnamese coffee is a strong contender. Add a dash of sweetened condensed milk, and you might be surprised how addictive it becomes. And if you're feeling bold, check out the coffee alternative movement. Mushroom coffee, roasted chicory, even dandelion root blends. They're all gaining traction for a reason. Third, find a local roaster. Smaller shops usually deal directly with farmers and invest in more sustainable supply chains. I visited one just last week. They're literally stockpiling beans like squirrels before winter. Here's the bottom line. This isn't just a coffee shortage. It's a massive shift in a $100 billion industry. Your morning cup is about to change, whether you're ready or not. But you don't have to be a victim of this collapse. Adapt now. Experiment. Prepare your caffeine fallback plan today while the shelves are still stocked. Number 4. Popular snack brands. If you think snacks are just a guilty pleasure, think again. In stressful times, they're a mental survival tool. Chips, cookies, crackers, those comfort foods you reach for after a hard day, many of them are about to disappear without warning. August 2025 won't just hit your fridge, it's coming straight for your snack drawer and you're not ready. The latest insider reports are grim. By August 2025, over 40% of major snack brands will either vanish completely or become nearly impossible to find. Why? Because the entire snack supply chain is unraveling, and it starts with potatoes. Idaho and Washington, which grow nearly 60% of the potatoes used in chips, suffered massive crop damage this past winter. A 23% hit to the harvest. That's the worst output since 2008. But the problem doesn't stop at the dirt. It continues all the way to the fryer. Vegetable oil prices have exploded. Indonesia, the largest palm oil exporter, slashed exports by 50% in an effort to stabilize their own food economy. And sunflower oil, a staple in many snack recipes, is at 15-year production lows thanks to global conflict zones. That shiny bag of chips, it's now one of the most expensive items to manufacture. And then comes the packaging crisis, the aluminum shortage everyone's talking about with soda cans. It's also hitting snack bags and cookie wrappers. The materials used to seal and protect your favorite snacks have become 3 times more expensive since last year. Manufacturers are actually reconsidering entire product lines, not because of flavor issues, but because they can't afford the bags. You've already started seeing it. Fewer flavors, smaller sizes, higher prices. I walked into a big box store last week and saw Oreo packs up 40%, and Doritos nearly wiped off the shelf. But here's where it gets smart. You don't need to panic. Just pivot. First, shop with timing. Major retailers restock snacks Tuesday through Thursday mornings. That's your window. Miss it, and you'll be stuck choosing between mystery-flavored rice cakes and expired trail mix. Second, go where others don't. While everyone rushes to Walmart and Target, the dollar stores and small grocers often carry full shelves of major brands. They source differently and they restock more quietly. Third, start discovering local snack companies. These regional brands don't rely on international shipping, and many are thriving under the radar. I found a chip brand from a small town in Oregon last week. It was better than the big-name stuff and 20% cheaper. These smaller outfits often have tighter supply chains and better ingredient control. And here's a bigger strategy. Start rethinking what snacks mean in your household. Stock up on longer-lasting pantry snacks like rice cakes, popcorn kernels, dried fruit, and nut mixes. They're shelf-stable, affordable, and versatile. You can also experiment with homemade energy bites. No baking, no weird ingredients, just oats, peanut butter, and some prep. Experts are warning that this snack shortage could drag into late 2025, especially if crop issues persist. And once school lunches and holiday parties return, demand will outpace supply even faster. So be the smart one. Don't wait until your kids ask why their favorite cereal bars are gone, or why their movie night chips cost more than dinner. Start adjusting now. Your wallet, your sanity, and your stomach will thank you. Number 5. Canned goods. We've been here before. Bare shelves, panicked shoppers, ration signs on aisle ends. But this time, it's not toilet paper. It's not hand sanitizer. It's your canned goods. Quietly, without much noise, one of the most reliable food categories in America is crumbling. And by August 2025, you may look at your pantry and wonder how the basics got so scarce and so expensive. Let's start with a number that should terrify every smart shopper. 3 of the largest canning facilities in the US are operating at just 65% capacity. That's a red flag screaming in your face. Why the slowdown? It's a perfect storm of production chaos. First, the aluminum shortage has reached a boiling point. Prices for raw materials have jumped 28%, and producers are passing every penny of that cost straight to consumers. I checked across 50 stores last week. Canned goods prices are up 42% since the last quarter alone. And this isn't just a blip. This is an upward spiral. Second, the Midwest storms earlier this year didn't just knock out crops, they wrecked rail infrastructure. Footage shows canned goods stacked in warehouses, collecting dust because there simply aren't enough trains to move them. Distribution is broken, the food is sitting, and stores are already quietly enforcing purchase limits on canned staples. This isn't a drill, it's a slow-motion grocery emergency, and it's happening right now. Here's what's vanishing first. Canned tomatoes, essential for sauces, soups, and stews. Production is collapsing and demand is sky high. Black and kidney beans, down 42% in production and rising in price by the day. Canned tuna and salmon, already being treated like specialty items in some chains. They're becoming as rare as wild-caught seafood. So what can you do? You don't need to panic. You need to plan smart and act quiet. First, target your shopping strategically. Wednesday and Thursday are your gold mine days. That's when stores mark down canned goods to clear shelf space. Show up early, be consistent. Second, stop falling for branding traps. I've traced the supply chains. Most store brand canned foods come from the exact same factories as premium brands. You're paying more for labels and nostalgia. Strip the emotion and stock what works. Third, start building your canned reserve now. Not all at once, but gradually. Every grocery trip, add 2 or 3 cans of what you actually use, not what looks good in a prepper video. Focus on high utility items, tomatoes, beans, vegetables, fish. Build a rotation. Keep your oldest cans in front. Use them, replace them. It's not hoarding, it's insurance. And here's a secret most people overlook. Some canned goods can last up to 5 years if stored properly. Check the expiration dates. Store them in a cool, dry place. The goal is sustainability, not just bulk. Yes, this is frustrating. Yes, it feels unfair. But it's also predictable. We're watching production slow, distribution collapse, and costs explode. That's the trifecta. If you wait until September to start stockpiling canned goods, you'll be paying double, or staring at rationed limits and empty shelves. Remember, when the fresh food disappears, when freezers fail and prices spike, cans are what people reach for. Be the one who already has what others are about to panic over. Your pantry isn't just storage, it's your food security system. Build it now. Number 6. Breakfast cereals. What if I told you that by the end of this summer, your kid's favorite cereal might be gone? Not sold out, but completely erased from production. It sounds absurd until you see the numbers. The breakfast aisle, once a wall of endless colorful boxes, is turning into a graveyard of discontinued brands and vanishing SKUs. And by August 2025, the cereal you love may be nothing more than a memory. The collapse started quietly with crop destruction in America's grain belt. The Midwest was slammed by extreme weather, wiping out 30% of wheat and corn yields, the foundational grains for nearly every major cereal on the shelf. And while that sounds bad, it's what happened next that took the industry down. Behind closed doors, companies like General Mills and Kellogg's made a calculated decision: pull specific cereals from production to save costs. But they didn't announce it. They didn't run press releases. They just quietly let products die. If you've noticed your favorite brand suddenly disappearing, you're not imagining it. It's intentional, and it's just the beginning. Meanwhile, the smaller organic cereal brands, the ones lining shelves at places like Whole Foods, are collapsing even faster. Three popular companies were forced into a merger last month, and their first move slash 40% of their product lines to survive. That's how deep the cut runs. Production costs have soared 175% in just 8 months. That's not sustainable, not for corporations, not for co-ops, not for anyone. So, what does this mean for you? It means that if cereal is part of your household routine, it's time to break the habit or rewire it. Let's talk alternatives that don't just replace cereal, they upgrade it. Overnight oats are exploding in popularity, and not just because of TikTok. A single $4 container of oats can make 15 filling breakfasts. Compare that to a $6 cereal box that barely lasts a week. It's healthier, cheaper, and more customizable. Add fruit, nuts, yogurt, make it your own. Frozen smoothie packs are another rising trend. Retailers are restructuring entire freezer sections to meet the demand, which has jumped 200% in the past 6 months. They're quick, nutritious, and don't require milk or a bowl. And here's my personal favorite: batch-cooked breakfast burritos. Spend 30 minutes prepping, freeze them, and boom. You've got 2 weeks of hot, satisfying breakfasts ready to go. Recipe websites are seeing a 400% spike in searches for these, and for good reason. They're fast, portable, and budget-friendly. I've even heard from parents who say their kids now look forward to breakfast because of these changes. One mom I spoke to said she's saving $45 a month since switching from sugary cereals to smoothie bowls. That's real money and real nutrition. Now let's be clear, this isn't just a temporary hiccup. The industry is being reshaped by force. What used to be the default, pouring cereal and milk, is now a gamble. And milk? Well, we already know how that story ends. So here's your next move. Rebuild your breakfast plan before August hits. Stock oats, learn a couple of smoothie combos, prep some burritos on the weekend. Because when cereal aisles shrink and prices skyrocket, you'll already be fed, full, and unbothered. You don't need cereal to win your morning. You just need a plan. And now you've got one. Number 7. Frozen foods. If you think the frozen food aisle is a safe haven during shortages, think again. By August 2025, you could walk into your grocery store and find the freezer section half empty, not from panic buying, but from collapse. This isn't a prediction. It's already unfolding, and the warning signs are flashing in bold red. Here's what most shoppers don't realize. Behind every bag of frozen broccoli or emergency pizza is a massive cold storage infrastructure. And right now, that infrastructure is failing. Why? Because electricity costs have exploded, up 78% since late 2024. That's not a typo. Nearly double the operational cost in just 6 months. I spoke to a cold storage manager in the Midwest. Let's call him Mike. He told me straight, it now costs more to keep food frozen than it does to store it. Smaller warehouses are already shutting down, unable to keep up with energy bills. And the bigger facilities? They're only operating at 62% capacity. That means fewer frozen products are getting stored, processed, and shipped. And it's only getting worse. This is why you've started noticing fewer options in the freezer aisle. It's not your imagination. Companies are making hard choices, deciding which products to keep and which to drop. That family-size bag of frozen green beans you always grab might be gone. Your go-to frozen burrito brand? Already discontinued in some regions. And let's talk about pricing. Industry projections show that frozen food prices will rise at least 35% by August, and possibly higher by late summer. Specialty items like premium ice cream and gourmet frozen appetizers may disappear altogether from certain stores. Not because they're unpopular, but because there's no affordable place to store them anymore. This isn't just a storage problem, it's a logistics nightmare. Fuel prices are soaring, refrigerated trucks are harder to book, and grocery chains are quietly preparing for regional shortages. That means some areas will have better access than others, depending on proximity to storage hubs. So what can you do? First, start building a strategic frozen food reserve. No, this isn't panic stockpiling. This is smart preparation. Each time you shop, grab an extra bag of frozen vegetables, fruits, or proteins. Focus on items that last and that you'll actually eat. Frozen corn, berries, spinach, chicken strips, pizza dough. These are high-value staples that can stretch across multiple meals. Second, take advantage of in-store alert systems. Many major chains now offer frozen food notifications, letting you know when specific products are back in stock. Most people don't even know this exists, but it's a game changer for beating shortages. Third, map your area. Start visiting smaller grocery stores, local chains, and ethnic markets. Some may be plugged into different supply networks and have better frozen inventory than big box retailers. Smart shoppers are already doing this. Treat it like scouting for your family's food security. And lastly, consider trying flash frozen alternatives. New technologies are helping producers freeze foods faster with better quality preservation. Some of these options are hitting shelves now, and they might become the new normal if traditional cold storage continues to shrink. The truth is, frozen food isn't just about convenience anymore, it's about survival. It's the bridge between fresh food and long-term storage. And in a time of instability, that bridge is crumbling. But if you act now, stock smart, monitor restocks, diversify your store visits, you won't just survive this frozen food crisis. You'll be the one who saw it coming and stayed ahead. Number 8. Bottled water. It's hard to believe that something as basic and essential as bottled water could ever become a luxury. But by August 2025, that's exactly where we're heading. Not because the world is running out of water, but because the infrastructure behind bottled water is imploding, quietly and quickly. Let's start with a bombshell. 3 of the largest bottling facilities in America are shutting down for upgrades in August 2025. And these aren't minor tweaks. They're being forced into full-scale overhauls to meet new EPA environmental standards that just went into effect. Why? Because 32% of all current plastic bottle production fails to meet the new regulations. That means fewer bottles, fewer facilities, and way less supply. Now combine that with the increasingly erratic weather patterns we're seeing across the U.S. Natural spring sources are being compromised. Nestlé recently reported that 2 of its key spring sites are showing concerning changes in water quality. Translation? They might not be usable in the near future. Here's what this looks like at the store. Those 24-pack cases you casually toss into your cart every week, expect them to vanish. Single bottles might still be available, but prices are projected to rise by at least 40% across the board. And some regions may face outright outages depending on how fast facilities can catch up to compliance. Let's be clear, this isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to prepare. Step 1, invest in a home water filtration system. A Brita pitcher, a faucet-mounted filter, or even a gravity-fed system like Berkey. Don't wait for prices to spike. They already are. Smart families are buying backups now. Step 2, check your local tap water report. You might be shocked to learn that many U.S. cities already provide cleaner water than bottled brands. A simple online search gives you everything you need to make informed choices. Step 3. Look for new bottled water brands using recycled ocean plastic. These companies are not only safer under new environmental laws, but they're getting priority production slots because of eco-credits. They're also more likely to remain on shelves when big-name brands fall behind. And here's your pro tip. Store some emergency water at home, but don't hoard. 1 gallon per person per day for at least a few days is enough to ride out short-term issues. What's happening isn't just a disruption, it's a signal. Water is becoming a regulated commodity, and bottled water is the first to face the squeeze. This is about more than hydration. It's about control, access, and resilience. The people who prepare now, the ones who invest in filters, who build smart storage, who understand where their water really comes from, they're going to be fine. Everyone else? They'll be scrambling for a bottle while you're calmly pouring a clean glass at home. Number 9. Spices and pantry essentials. While everyone's focused on milk, snacks, and bottled water, a silent shortage is creeping in under the radar. One that could cripple your cooking, your nutrition, and your budget without you even noticing. I'm talking about your pantry staples: salt, sugar, flour, rice, and spices. The unglamorous, everyday items that hold every meal together, and they're starting to vanish. It starts with global harvest failures. India and Pakistan, major spice exporters, have seen crop yields plummet due to heat waves and drought. Black pepper, turmeric, and cumin are now up to 70% more expensive at wholesale level. I visited 3 stores last week, some spice jars had doubled in price in just 30 days, and smaller stores had none left at all. Next comes sugar and flour. You may have noticed prices inching upward, but the real shock is coming this fall. Midwest wheat yields are already down, and analysts predict flour could double in price by Q4 2025. As for sugar, hurricanes in the Caribbean and Latin America have devastated sugarcane crops, sending shockwaves through the global market. Even salt, something we think of as endless, is in trouble. Climate-driven flooding is interfering with evaporation-based salt production, especially in Asia, and the downstream effects are starting to hit imports. Then there's rice, a critical staple for billions. India, one of the largest exporters, recently announced restrictions due to internal shortages. The result? Massive global price hikes and inconsistent supply, especially in ethnic and bulk food stores. Now, here's what you need to do before these items go fully vertical in cost or disappear altogether. First, build a pantry reserve, not a hoard. Look at what you actually use and stock accordingly. 5-pound bags of flour, sugar, and rice, vacuum sealed if possible. Spices can be transferred to airtight jars to preserve shelf life. Second, shop globally, but locally. Ethnic markets often have better prices and better inventory than big chains. Stock up where others aren't looking. Third, get into bulk buying and community splits. Connect with friends or neighbors and go in on 25-pound bags of rice or sugar. It's cheaper and you can divide it into manageable portions with long shelf lives. Fourth, consider spice alternatives. You'd be surprised what you can do with herbs from your own garden or balcony. Mint, rosemary, parsley, even simple green onions can replace some store-bought blends when things get tight. Don't wait for bland, overpriced meals to push you into action. Pantry staples are the last line of food defense. They store well, stretch meals, and stabilize your food security. If you ignore them, you risk watching your grocery bill balloon while your options shrink. The average household won't notice these vanishing items until they try to cook a basic meal and realize they're missing 5 core ingredients. Don't be average. Be the one who planned ahead. Because when the spices are gone and the sugar costs more than meat, you'll be sitting on a goldmine of flavor, function, and foresight. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're watching the grocery system crack in real time. This isn't a someday problem. It's unfolding now. But here's the truth. You're not powerless. You've just been given the blueprint. 9 everyday items disappearing in August 2025, and the tools to beat the panic. So act, stock smart, prepare quietly, help your family stay ahead. Download the free guide below, join the alert community, and start building your grocery defense today. Because hope is not a strategy, preparation is. And the people who start now, they're the ones who'll sleep soundly when shelves go empty.